Hey everyone, it's your buddy, it's your pal, Karnak, Star Wars Armada Explained. We're going to be looking at the Z-95 Headhunter today, with the only unique currently with the squadron, Lieutenant Blount. So the Z-95, the generic version, it means you can bring as many of them as you have, up to the 134 squadron points that you get out of the 400 points you get for your fleet total. So bottom left-hand corner of the card, you'll see the Z-95 icon. Opposite that, it says point cost, only 7 points for the Z-95 Headhunter. Now, the Z-95 is often very much compared to the Imperial TIE Fighter. And why is that? Well, they both only have 3 hull. They are cheap fighters, but the way that they're employed and the way that you should be using them are a little bit different. So the Z-95 Headhunter has, in the yellow box there, a speed of distance 3, so it can move anywhere from 1 to distance 3. It has 3 hull points in the next box there. The next one is anti-squadron armament, which is 3 red die, and its anti-ship armament is 1 red die. The only keyword that it gets is swarm, which is while attacking a squadron engaged with another squadron, you may reroll 1 die. So Z-95s, compare that to TIE Fighters. TIE Fighters, they go distance 4 for their speed. They're 8 points. They throw 3 blue die compared to 1 blue die for or 3 blue die for anti-squadron, 1 blue die for anti-ship. So what is the pros and cons of that versus red die? Well, red die is essentially more random. Because blue dice, you have 4 sides with the ability to land a single hit of damage, and then the other 4 sides are either 2 accuracies or 2 criticals. For red dice, you have 2 chance of single hits and then a chance of a double hit, but then the rest of the sides are essentially, you have 1 accuracy, and then you have 2 blanks and 2 criticals, and so there's more chances of red dice essentially doing nothing compared to a blue die, where you definitely have more chance of a consistent result. But with red die, you could spike and get that coveted triple double, where you roll 3 red, and as you can see there, I managed to land a double. But essentially nothing can beat a Z-95 if it rolls the coveted 6 damage against a generic squadron. Mops the floor with generic squadrons if you roll that. But often, when you roll red dice, this is what you're going to see. Or, oh my gosh, that's okay, Vassal, you're going to make a liar out of me. There it goes. Of course, it's rolling doubles. But you can see there, 2 damage, 2 damage. About the average you're going to see is usually just 1. It's making, there you go. There's some blanks and things. You see as I'm kind of rolling it. Again, wow, great roll. It's making it look like it's blue dice, but it's not. So you can kind of see, well, it's rolling a lot of red. It's being weird. I've not, red dice usually don't behave that way. So with red dice, again, with 3 red die, yeah, you're getting a damage, maybe 2. It's really difficult to get more than that. Again, they have swarm, so they can re-roll those blanks or criticals, but again, you still have that hard of a chance to actually land. Oh, again, only 3 sides are actually doing anything for you. But then, again, when the Z-95, when it's bombing anti-ship, again, you roll those doubles, and it turns them into a threat. So for a TIE Fighter, if it was to go up to shoot it, again, anti-squadron armament of 3 red die, you throw it, you do 1 damage. You've got, if you have another squadron that's nearby, for example, let's say Lieutenant Blount is already nearby, well, then that he's engaged with another squadron, means you can use swarm and re-roll that die, try to get a better result. Or maybe you need to try to get like an accuracy if it's somebody like a scatter ace. So with swarm, remember they need to be engaged. So for example, if this TIE Fighter was hiding in the middle of a debris field, he is technically not engaged with any squadrons because the attack is obstructed. Even though he is at distance 1 of these squadrons and he can be attacked and attack these squadrons, he technically is not engaged with any of them. Meaning that when you're attacking him, you couldn't reroll any dice. Or maybe that the debris field, maybe he's hiding here or he's sitting here and you're sitting there. Well, you may have a straight line of shot with him. You're no longer obstructed. You have engagement. Again, no engagement from here to here because the obstacle's in the way. Again, you don't get that reroll. So that is Z-95. That's what Swarm does. Nothing else crazy going on with them. Let's talk about Lieutenant Blount. What does Lieutenant Blount have? So he gets all the same stats. He is unique, though. You'll see a little dot or bullet point in front of his name. Meaning you can only have one of him in your fleet. He's 14 points, and he gets defensive tokens. He gets a brace and a scatter. So, very comparable to a TIE Fighter ace. He gets the Swarm keyword, but he has a special ability. While another friendly squadron with Swarm at distance 1 is attacking a squadron, it may reroll 1 die in addition to any die rerolled from Swarm. So what does that mean? Well, he is essentially giving out an extra reroll. So if we were to fly back up, but again, this TIE Fighter is engaged with the Z-95, so Swarm is active. We're going to say Blount is attacking this TIE Fighter. And, oh man, there's nothing there. Well, now we're going to use Swarm. We're going to reroll this die. Hey, we got a damage. And now Blount can't use his own ability on himself. Because, again, it says there, while another friendly squadron with Swarm is attacking. But, hey, at least Blount could still get Swarm, reroll 1. Well, what about this other Z-95? Well, if this Z-95 was attacking and he rolled his 3 red dice, he could use Swarm. Again, didn't get what he wanted, but he could use Lieutenant Blount's ability, which, again, he's at distance 1 of Lieutenant Blount, which when you are doing distance check, this black circle's distance 1, red is distance 2. So long as he's just barely within touching that black circle, he's at distance 1. You then can use Blount's ability to reroll that die. Again, still only did 2 damage, but you can see there having those rerolls is very beneficial. Now, for Rebels, there is only one other Rebel squadron that has Swarm, and that's a B-Wing squadron called Dagger Squadron. And Dagger Squadron has Swarm, so he could get benefit from Lieutenant Blount as well. But why don't you see very many Z-95s? Well, the Rebels have discovered the same problems that Imperials have with TIE Fighters. They die really fast. You got to have a plan for them. You just can't throw in a bunch of Z-95s and expect them to do well. And as Rebel players have seen, they die just as fast, if not faster, to an Imperial Alpha Strike than their Rebel squadrons already kind of currently do, unless they've got Jan Ors backing up. But even them, they're fragile. They don't like to be in flak. Just got to be careful. But if you're looking for cheap deployments, Z-95s are definitely going to accomplish that. Also, their ace isn't just, Blount. Rerolls is great, but it only is helpful when attacking squadrons. Doesn't help with their anti-ship capability at all. But that is the Z-95. That's Lieutenant Blount. There's no errata. There's no crazy things going on with them. No intricacies other than, again, another reason why you don't see them is because they don't work with Tor and Far. Tor and Far, they don't work with Bomber Command Center, which is kind of some staples that you usually see in Rebel squadron fleets. Not to say they're awful, but you just got to have a plan for them. So that's the Z-95. Of course, if you feel like I missed anything or got anything wrong, please be sure to point it out. Let me know. Appreciate you guys watching the video, and hey, I'll catch you all next time.